Welcome to War Bios, the podcast where we delve into the lives of history's most fascinating military leaders. I'm your host, General Biography, and today we're going to explore the extraordinary life of Napoleon Bonaparte, one of the most brilliant and complex figures in military history. From his humble beginnings on the island of Corsica to his rise as Emperor of France, Napoleon's story is a testament to the power of strategic genius, unwavering ambition, and unrelenting passion. The island of Corsica, with its rugged landscape and majestic mountains, was a place of beauty and resilience. Born on August 15, 1769, in Ajaccio, Corsica, Napoleon was the fourth of 11 children to Carlo Bonaparte and Letizia Ramolino. His family, though not wealthy, was part of the minor nobility, and his parents sought to provide their children with a good education. The Bonapartes were a proud family, deeply rooted in Corsican culture, but also influenced by French rule, which had been imposed on the island since 1768. This blend of identities would shape Napoleon's perspective on nationality, loyalty, and power, and would later become a defining feature of his military career. As a child, Napoleon was known for his intense curiosity, strong will, and competitive nature. He was particularly close to his older brother Joseph, with whom he shared a love for reading and playing strategy games. The brothers would often engage in mock battles, using their imagination to recreate ancient wars and conquer fictional territories. These early games not only fostered Napoleon's strategic thinking, but also instilled in him a sense of adventure and a desire for glory. Their mother, Letizia, would often tell stories of Corsican heroes and the struggles of their ancestors, which further fueled Napoleon's passion for history and his sense of destiny. Napoleon's education began at a local Catholic school in Ajaccio, where he excelled in mathematics and geography. In 1779, at the age of 9, he was awarded a scholarship to attend the École Militaire in Autun, France. This marked the beginning of his formal military training, which would become the foundation of his future success. The École Militaire provided Napoleon with a rigorous education in tactics, engineering, and leadership, as well as exposure to the works of prominent military theorists like Vauban and Maurice Dessart. He was especially drawn to the writings of Julius Caesar, whose campaigns he studied with great interest. In 1785, Napoleon graduated from the École Militaire and was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the French army. He was just 16 years old. The following year, he joined the La Fère Artillery Regiment, where he quickly distinguished himself as a talented and dedicated young officer. During this period, Napoleon became deeply interested in the writings of Enlightenment thinkers like Rousseau and Voltaire, whose ideas about liberty, equality, and democracy would later influence his political views. He was particularly drawn to the concept of meritocracy, which emphasized the importance of individual talent and hard work over birth and social status. The late 1780s were a time of great turmoil in France, with the financial crisis, food shortages, and social unrest paving the way for the French Revolution. Napoleon, though still a young officer, was keenly aware of these developments and began to see the potential for military advancement in the midst of chaos. In 1789, he returned to Corsica to visit his family and became embroiled in the island's own revolutionary struggles. This experience not only broadened his understanding of politics and insurgency, but also deepened his connection to his Corsican heritage. He witnessed firsthand the passion and violence that accompanied revolutionary change, and he began to formulate his own ideas about how to harness this energy for military purposes. As the French Revolution gained momentum, Napoleon found himself at a crossroads. He could continue to serve the monarchy, which was increasingly unpopular, or he could throw his support behind the revolutionaries. In 1791, he wrote a pamphlet titled Le Souper de Beaucaire, in which he argued that the National Assembly's actions were justified and that the monarchy should be reformed. This early foray into political writing demonstrated Napoleon's growing interest in the intersection of politics and military power, as well as his willingness to take bold positions on contentious issues. Though still a junior officer, he was already thinking about how to align his military career with the rapidly changing political landscape. By the end of 1792, Napoleon had returned to France and was serving as a captain in the army. The French Revolution was entering its most radical phase, and the European powers were beginning to take notice. As the drums of war beat louder, Napoleon stood poised on the threshold of his greatest challenges and opportunities. As the French Revolution continued its tumultuous trajectory, Napoleon's military career gained irrepressible momentum. The year 1793 marked a pivotal moment in his ascent, as he was promoted to brigadier general and entrusted with a crucial role in the siege of Toulon. This grueling campaign, which pitted the French forces against the British, would prove to be a defining test of Napoleon's mettle. With unwavering resolve, he spearheaded the French efforts, leveraging his strategic acumen and tactical genius to outmaneuver the enemy. The eventual triumph at Toulon earned him widespread recognition and admiration from his peers, catapulting him to the forefront of attention in Paris. The City of Light, with its intricate web of alliances, rivalries, and romantic entanglements, would soon become the backdrop for a pivotal moment in Napoleon's personal life. In 1795, he married Josephine de Beauharnais, a widow with 2 children and a prominent figure in Parisian society. This union would prove to be a turning point in Napoleon's life, as Josephine brought stability, love, and social connections that would prove invaluable to his future ambitions. The depth of their devotion was palpable, as evident in the tender letters they exchanged. Napoleon's words to Josephine, "You are the only woman I have ever loved, and I will love you until the end of time," bespoke a passion that would remain a constant theme throughout their relationship. As Napoleon's star continued its ascent, he found himself at the helm of the French army in Italy in 1796. The Italian campaign, which lasted from 1796 to 1797, would be an exemplary demonstration of his military prowess. With bold maneuvering and clever use of artillery, he secured a series of decisive victories against the Austrian and Sardinian forces. The Battle of Lodi, fought on May 10, 1796, was a masterclass in tactical genius, as Napoleon's forces outflanked and defeated the Austrian army, paving the way for the French occupation of northern Italy. His relationship with his troops was built on mutual respect and admiration, as they came to regard him as an infallible leader who could inspire them to achieve greatness. The Egyptian campaign, launched in 1798, would prove to be a more complex and challenging endeavor. Although the military outcome was ultimately disappointing, with the British sinking the French fleet at Abu Qir Bay, Napoleon's time in Egypt was marked by significant scientific and cultural discoveries. The team of scientists and scholars he brought with him made groundbreaking findings in fields such as archaeology, botany, and mathematics. The Description de l'Égypte, a comprehensive survey of Egyptian culture and geography, remains one of the most important works to emerge from this period, a testament to Napoleon's vision and intellectual curiosity. Upon his return to France in 1799, Napoleon found the country teetering on the brink of chaos, with political instability and economic crisis threatening to engulf the nation. Seizing the opportunity, he joined forces with Abbé Sieyès and Charles Maurice de Talleyrand Périgord to overthrow the Directory and establish a new government. The coup d'état of 18 Brumaire, which took place on November 9, 1799, marked the beginning of Napoleon's ascent to supreme power in France. With characteristic confidence and charisma, he presented himself as the man who could bring stability and prosperity to a nation torn apart by conflict and division. As the new consul of France, Napoleon set about reforming the government, economy, and military with his trademark energy and determination. He centralized power, established a more efficient administrative system, and launched a series of public works projects to improve infrastructure and stimulate economic growth. The Napoleonic Code, a comprehensive set of civil laws that remains in force to this day, is a testament to his enduring legacy as a statesman and lawgiver. His vision for a modern, unified France was beginning to take shape, and his popularity among the French people continued to soar. The year 1800 saw Napoleon's greatest military triumph to date as he led the French army to victory against the Austrians at the Battle of Marengo. This decisive battle, fought on June 14, 1800, marked a turning point in European history as it cemented French dominance over the continent and paved the way for Napoleon's future conquests. As the news of his victory spread, Napoleon's fame reached new heights, and he became known as the greatest military commander of his time. As Napoleon's power and influence continued to grow, so did his ambition. He began to see himself as a great leader, destined to shape the course of European history. His vision for a unified, prosperous, and powerful France was taking shape, and he was determined to stop at nothing to achieve it. The fate of Europe hung in the balance, as Napoleon's relentless drive for glory and domination propelled him toward even greater challenges and triumphs. With his characteristic energy and determination, he pressed on, driven by an insatiable desire to leave his mark on the world. As Napoleon's ambition continued to drive him forward like a juggernaut, he faced increasing opposition from European powers who had grown weary of his relentless expansion and dominance. The disastrous Russian campaign of 1812 marked a significant turning point in his fortunes, as the harsh winter and determined Russian resistance decimated his army, leaving it a shadow of its former self. The once mighty Grande Armée, which had marched triumphantly into the heart of Europe, was now reduced to a mere fraction of its original strength, its morale battered by the unforgiving Russian landscape. The Sixth Coalition, comprising Russia, Prussia, Austria, and Britain, eventually defeated him at the Battle of Leipzig in 1813, forcing him to abdicate the throne in 1814. This humiliating defeat marked the end of Napoleon's reign as Emperor of France, and he was exiled to the island of Elba, a small but picturesque outpost in the Mediterranean. As he gazed out upon the sea, he must have felt a deep sense of isolation and despair, his mind reeling from the catastrophic collapse of his empire. However, Napoleon's indomitable spirit refused to be extinguished. He escaped from Elba in 1815 and regained power for a brief period known as the 100 Days. During this time, he attempted to reassert his authority over France, but his efforts were ultimately doomed to fail. His final defeat at the Battle of Waterloo on June 18, 1815, led to his exile to the remote island of St. Helena, a desolate and unforgiving outpost in the South Atlantic. As Napoleon stood on the windswept shores of St. Helena, he must have felt the weight of his own mortality bearing down upon him. The once mighty conqueror, who had bestrode Europe like a colossus, was now reduced to a mere prisoner, subject to the whims of his British captors. And yet, even in exile, Napoleon's intellect and strategic mind remained sharp, his thoughts turning to the legacy he would leave behind. During his final years on St. Helena, Napoleon reflected on his life and legacy, dictating his memoirs to his loyal companions, including the devoted Emmanuel de Lescasses. As he looked out upon the vast ocean, he remarked, "History is a set of lies agreed upon," a statement that would become infamous for its cynicism, yet also underscored his deep understanding of the complexities of historical narrative. This enigmatic phrase, which has been interpreted and reinterpreted over the years, reveals Napoleon's profound insight into the nature of history itself, a fragile construct, prone to distortion and manipulation. Napoleon's later years were marked by illness and isolation, but his mind remained active, pouring out a torrent of thoughts on history, politics, and military strategy. His writings provide valuable insights into his thoughts on governance, diplomacy, and war, demonstrating a nuanced understanding of the intricate web of European politics. As he navigated the treacherous waters of international relations, Napoleon revealed himself to be a master strategist, always thinking several moves ahead of his adversaries. Napoleon Bonaparte died on May 5, 1821, at the age of 51, likely due to stomach cancer or arsenic poisoning. The news of his death sent shockwaves throughout Europe, with many mourning the loss of a man who had left an indelible mark on history. As the years passed, Napoleon's legacy continued to evolve, with some viewing him as a brilliant military strategist and statesman, while others saw him as a power-hungry tyrant. Today, Napoleon is remembered as one of the most influential leaders in modern history, whose impact extends far beyond his military conquests. His reforms, such as the Napoleonic Code, continued to shape European law and governance, providing a foundation for the modern nation-state. The concept of meritocracy, which he championed, has become a cornerstone of modern society, where talent and hard work are rewarded over birth and privilege. His unwavering ambition, unrelenting drive, and intellectual curiosity propelled him to greatness, yet also led him down a path of destruction and tyranny. Napoleon's character, with all its contradictions, remains a fascinating subject of study, a tangled web of virtues and vices, strengths and weaknesses. His legacy serves as a reminder that history is not simply a series of dry dates and events, but a rich tapestry of human experience, full of drama, intrigue, and complexity. Napoleon's story serves as a testament to the power of human ingenuity and ambition, a reminder that even the most unlikely individual can shape the course of history. That's all for today's War Bios. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, I'm General Biography reminding you to keep marching toward victory.